everybody, and welcome to the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center for the National Indoor Football League. Tonight, the homestanding Houma Bucks meet the Austin Rockers. I'm Lynn Rollins along with Ronnie Rance. Well, Ronnie, tonight for Houma, it's not a must-win situation, but in terms of the playoffs, this is a huge game, and Austin needs a win in order to have any hopes for postseason.
Well, absolutely. For both teams, and for the Bayou Bucks, they've got 2 games remaining. They want to try to revenge an earlier loss this past season to Austin, and if they win today, Lynn, they pretty much just get to sit back the last week of the season and see if they can get into the playoffs. In my opinion, if they win today, they're going to get into the playoffs.
There are some interesting stories about to unfold on your television screen. One of them is Lee McCormick. If that name sounds familiar, he's a veteran of the NFL.
Well, Lee McCormick, get this, played for the St. Louis Cardinals in 1986. Also played for the Phoenix Cardinals in their first year in 1987. He's 39 years old. He was an all-league performer earlier last season in the NIFL, so he's their go-to guy on third down.
He is a wide receiver who likes to catch it in crucial situations, and for Houma, Kevin Hurd is exactly the same.
Well, Kevin Hurd out of Southern Miss has been sensational. Averages over 12 yards a catch. Catches about 4 or 5 balls a game, and he's been really big. Had a big game last week as well. The Bayou Bucks are very talented. A ton of good receivers, but Kevin Hurd may be the best.
Well, the Bucks will have to play without their leading rusher and their leading defender. Michael Burks is hurt. Tim Betts is hurt, the middle linebacker. So it is a patched-up Houma team. And, Ronnie, the Bucks had their 6-game winning streak snapped last week. It was an upset on the road at Oklahoma, but they have not lost this year in this building.
Well, there's no question about it that the Bayou Bucks want to take care of business and really, put the nail in the coffin as far as trying to clinch a playoff spot. But they've got a lot of revenge on their mound. They had an ugly trip earlier this year to Austin, played a sloppy game, and they want to send a message that they're better than what they did a few months ago.
It's the 6-5 Austin Rockers against the 8-4 Houma Bayou Bucks. We'll have the starting lineups and the kickoff right after this timeout. Civic Center in the National Indoor Football League is brought to you by Copeland's of New Orleans with locations in Lafayette and Houma. By the Cardiovascular Institute of the South. And by Terrebonne Parish and a world of opportunity in South Louisiana. Welcome back to the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center, everyone. Along with Ronnie Rance, I'm Lynn Rollins. There is Coach Jack Phillips, hoping his ball club can rebound from what was a very poor performance last week at Oklahoma, a team which was winless prior to the upset victory over the Houma Bucks. Houma Terrebonne Civic Center is a place that has been very good to the home team this year. Ronnie, the Bucks are undefeated, and they'll play the final regular season of the game in this building as well.
5-0 with a real good opportunity to win that last home game. They take on a team that will be winless coming in here, and Bucks today trying to take a big step towards clinching a playoff berth. Jack Phillips was the head coach last season as the Bucks finished below 500, didn't make the playoffs, kept a lot of the nucleus intact and really felt like he had a good chance for his team to maybe win a division or clinch a playoff spot, and I think they're going to accomplish that.
The Rockers will kick off. It is in the air, bouncing around, picked up by one of the up men at the 13-yard line. He is dancing to midfield and is dragged down at the 24. And so good start for the Houma Bucks. Cedric Allen bringing that one back. He'll be in the starting lineup as a running back with the absence of Michael Burks. You see quarterback Herb Tyler from LSU. Kevin Hurd, whom we featured in the opening. Kenny Causey and Darian Chestnut are the wide receivers. Lane Evans, Troy Adams, and Nick Rodemeyer anchor the middle of the offensive line, and they've done a fine job, especially during that 6-game winning streak.
Well, you see Herb Tyler not getting the start. Don't know if something happened. That's the backup quarterback for the Bayou Bucks in the ball game.
It is Aubrey Jones, who played last year with the Bucks and was cut and has been re-signed. Aubrey Jones will throw on first down. He fires. It is picked up around the ankles. A fine catch by Kevin Hurd. And Kevin Hurd picks up some good yardage. We will try to check on Herb Tyler. He was announced just minutes ago as the starting quarterback. Michael Bowden, Carlos Chester, and Glenn Antoine up front defensively for the Rockers. The linebacker is Nick Jester, Chris Jackson, Damon Bowie, Brent Pradia, and Corey Mathis in the secondary. And they've got some pretty good players back there, especially Pradia. First and 10 after the hookup to Kevin Hurd from the 11-yard line. Jones hands off to Cedric Allen. He's a big fellow at 6'2" and 250 pounds. We won't see the maneuverability out of him as we would from Michael Burks, who has an ankle injury. But Cedric Allen is a guy, Ronnie, who just takes it and lugs it straight ahead.
Well, Cedric Allen had a big game a few weeks ago at Tupelo, rushed for over 70 yards. He's in there for the injured Michael Burks, who has a hurt foot. And Cedric Allen is definitely a power back. You know what he's going to do. He's not going to make maybe one move and then plow straight ahead, a very physical runner. Oh, they just hope that Aubrey Jones will get off to a good start here to open up that running game by Allen.
Jones out of Northwestern State, former quarterback coming out of Southern Lab High School in Baton Rouge, and he lobs one to the corner. It's well overthrown. Kevin Hurd was pretty well guarded in the near side corner, and Aubrey Jones threw it out of play. Third down on the Bucks opening possession from the 7-yard line.
Well, Aubrey Jones last year played a little bit of quarterback when Herb Tyler got injured, so he spent some time with the Bucks. But he was with Louisville in the Arena 2 League just a few weeks ago, and now finds himself as the backup for the Bucks, but getting the last-second start here.
The Bucks go to the ground and don't get much. This will bring up a 4th down opportunity for Chris Stropolo.
Yeah, Chris Mathis, number 25, with a nice stop. Came up and laid a lick on Cedric Allen. He was from the safety position, shoots in there. Red run all the way. He's a 6'1", 195-pounder out of Southeast Missouri State. He wasn't afraid to take on the bigger Jones that time.
This is a 22-yard attempt from the far hash mark. Stropolo's longest this year was 44 yards, and he drills that one easily. So Chris Stropolo knocks one through, and the Bucks take advantage of their first possession and get a mid-range field goal from the former Nicholls State kicker. 3-0 with 11:48 remaining in the first quarter here in Houma. Ronnie, a good start for the Bucks. It is important to get points every time you get your hands on the football in the National Indoor Football.
Well, absolutely, and you know, the Bucks have been so good at home. Their defense has played so good in this building, and that was a huge start to go right down the field, put 3 on the board rather, and take the lead. And I tell you what, you know, the Bucks really thought back for this game. They thought back to the first time they played Austin. Austin ran the football right down their throat, had a lot of success offensively. So a good start for them to get the momentum, and now they can turn their defense loose to try to stop the run of Austin, because there's no secret that's what they're going to try to do.
The first time around over in the Texas Capitol, there were some footing problems as they played over an ice rink, and there was a lot of sweating, condensation onto the carpet, and it was a problem for the Bucks. They were complaining all night about it.
Well, that game was not televised. If we had video, it'd be interesting, because we heard there was almost a fog over the arena that night because they had hockey ice down, and it caused quite a controversy, really. The Bucks were not happy. They felt like Austin had a much better home field advantage. They had the proper cleats on where the Bucks didn't, and the Bucks lost that ball game.
Offensively for Austin, this is the way it lines up. Mark Saldana is the quarterback. Jaquay Wilburn, Sean Mitchell, both running backs. Derek Wallace is a wide receiver. Lee McCormick, well up in age, but still a very good player. Brett Elliott, Jody Cantu, and Al Basinger are up front offensively. Saldana will take the snap from Jody Cantu out of Texas A&M Kingsville. Saldana, a former quarterback at Texas Tech. He'll throw on first down. The lefty is flushed, fires it short, and he's got a man at the 20-yard line. It is Wilburn, and Wilburn finds good running room. He's finally slammed up against the boards on the near side. A first down on the first play of the game for the Rockers. Defensively, Franklin Thomas, Roger Green, and Andre Reed, and they've been so good up front. David Dorsey is in the middle today, former linebacker from Tulane. Drew Email, Tyrone Hughes, the former Saint, Sullivan Beard, and Emmanuel Bentley are in the secondary. This Houma defense has been splendid, one of the best in the league. To the ground and a little bit of running room to the right side. For the Rockers, that was David Banks. And they like to put a lot of people in the backfield. They've got more running backs listed on their active roster than any team in the NIFL.
Yeah, more running backs than they do receivers, and that's why it's really no surprise what they're going to do. It's going to be up to the Bayou Bucks defensive front, which is very good against the pass rush, but they're going to have to step it up and try to shut down the running game of the Austin Rockers. Right there, looks like the Buck jumped offside, and a nice hard count by Saldana.
Banks is somewhat of an interesting story in that he's got a connection with Fort Hood.
Well, Banks is from around the Fort Hood area. There's a couple of players there, a lot of connections to Fort Hood, about 40 miles outside of Austin.
And he commutes that distance. There's Banks running left. The defender on his ankles, and that is the middle linebacker, David Dorsey. Dorsey and Tim Betts, who's injured with a foot problem, were in a neck-and-neck battle for the starting job at the early part of the year. Both of them are very good linebackers. Betts has emerged as the #1 player. Dorsey has been on the practice squad and getting his chance, a 6'2", 220-pounder out of Tulane. He's maybe a step behind Betts, but he's pretty darn good in his own right.
Well, Betts has more experience, but Dorsey's very active in that middle linebacker position.
3rd down and a yard to go, and they go up the middle. Wilburn is hit. I think he may have had enough before he's thrown back. This is one of the few teams in the National Indoor Football League that will use the 2-back set very frequently.
Emmanuel Bentley came up. He's kind of acting as a linebacker and safety. He kind of comes up and fills the hole and does a nice job, but looks like just enough on forward progress.
Roger Green there in the middle of your screen, number 50, the nose guard, took a left route, and the running back came back on the other side of the center can too, and Green just took himself out of the play.
In the NIFL, the linebackers have to be 5 yards off the football. That's why they're not in those gaps. Gives the advantage to the running back.
Wilburn cracks down to the 4, the 3, and a flag goes down in the backfield. This probably will be against the Rockers. It is a holding penalty. 8.5 remains in the first quarter. Houma leads on a mid-range field goal by Stropolo.
There you see Saldana. How about this, Lynn? Saldana is a flight steward for Southwest Airlines, so lives in the Houston, Texas area. Gets that free travel on Southwest Airlines, and the quarterback for the Rockers is the guy that gives you the peanuts and the sodas when you're on those short Southwestern flights. Don't mess around on his plane, huh?
1st and goal from the 13. Saldana on the draw, slips it off to Sean Mitchell, former running back at the University of Texas, and he is drilled immediately. David Dorsey, the middle linebacker, filled the gap very nicely. There's Dorsey, number 43.
Dorsey did a nice job coming up and stopping Sean Mitchell.
David Dorsey wants to make the most out of this opportunity. And he has been active early.
2nd and goal. At about the 13 and a half. And that gives the Rockers an opportunity maybe to try to throw the football. And we know they're going to be looking for Derek Wallace as well as Lee McCormick.
Gets thrown short, caught by the running back at the 6. He dives ahead. Wilburn is knocked down at the 2-yard line.
Well, that was a good option because everybody, the Bucks were looking for McCormick or Wallace to get the football, and then they just slipped Jaquai Wilburn right out the backfield. You see kind of a fake to Mitchell, and Wilburn kind of acted as the fullback right there, goes in the flat. Nobody picks him up, and he almost gets into the end zone. Matter of fact, should have scored. Lost his footing. If it wasn't for that, he would have scored easily.
Wilburn was anticipating some contact, and none was coming. He already had that touchdown lean going before he got to the strike. 3rd and goal from the 2. Left side, the hurdle by Wilburn. And he got in. Check it, that's David Banks, I believe.
Yep, Banks gets in, number 33. They rotate the backs quite a bit, and Mark Saldana leads his team right down the field to take the early lead. And it looks like an instant replay of earlier this year when the Rockers just ran the football down the throats of the Bayou Bucks. That time, no surprise what they did. Virtually the same thing.
Austin with 6 wins and 5 defeats. Here's Darren Brown, the left-footed kicker. And he knocks it through, but there is a penalty marker down. Let's check the flag. It will stand. It's 7-0 or 7-3. Austin leads Houma with 6:22 remaining in the first quarter. Each team has had it once. Each team has points early. We'll take a timeout and be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Each team has had 1 possession. And Austin got a touchdown out of its drive, leading 7-3. A 2-yard touchdown run by David Banks. After Chris Trapolo hit a 23-yard field goal for Houma earlier. Darian Chestnut is back to receive the kickoff from Darren Brown out of Wofford, a former 1AA All-America. There's Chestnut. And he's joined back there by Sullivan Beard. Austin 7, Houma 3 as we await clearance for the kickoff. 6:22 remaining in the first quarter. Houma's 6-game winning streak, the longest in its 2-year franchise history, was dumped last week, an upset by Oklahoma, a team which had not had a victory under its belt before a week ago. Midfield, 15, 10, down to the 2-yard line. Sullivan Beard with a slashing return up the middle and then broke it to the outside, and he puts Houma at point-blank range.
Sullivan Beard is a big-time player, not only in defensive backfield, but in the kick game as well. And he's been in the middle of so many big plays over the last 2 seasons by the Bayou Bucks, and this is really what their offense needed. Big return, broke it up the middle, and then has a tremendous amount of speed. Almost takes it to the house. Comes up just short, about 2 yards from the end zone.
And he got some good blocking downfield.
The Bucks are very good in the return game, one of the better teams in the NIFL. They do an excellent job in special teams.
Herb Tyler is back in at quarterback, and he hands off to Cedric Allen. The big fellow crashes through for the score. 6'2" and 250 pounds on that frame. Cedric Allen, like a locomotive, just bowled in.
Well, Herb Tyler didn't start the game at quarterback for the Bucks. He had a little bit of a stomach virus. Aubrey Jones got the flu, so we'll have to watch Herb throughout the game. But the return allows Cedric Allen to just do the work, plow ahead for a 2-yard touchdown.
Al Strapolo will try to give his club a 3-point advantage. The southpaw knocks it through. Well, Ronnie, we've had fireworks early here. 5:38 remaining in the first quarter, and everybody has scored every time the teams have touched the ball. 10-7, Houma leads by 3. We'll be right back on Cox Sports Television. Well, the kick comes up short, and it is fielded near midfield. Austin will put its offense on the field at its own 23-yard line. So 2 possessions by Houma, resulting in a field goal and a 2-yard touchdown run by big Cedric Allen. And on the other side of things, with 1 possession, David Banks crashed over from 2 yards away. Houma leads by 3 with 5:25 remaining in the first quarter. The Bucks are 8-4. Austin is 6-5 and absolutely needs a win to keep its postseason hopes alive. And another hard count brings the eager Houma defense across early.
And that's the second time that Saldana has caused the Bucks to jump off sides. They're going to have to get a little bit more disciplined up there. 2 offside penalties and 2 straight drives.
It's a pretty itchy group, isn't it, up front? They have been so good to the quarterback this year.
Yeah, there's no question about it that Roger Green, Franklin Thomas, Andre Reed, probably three of the best defensive linemen in the NIFL. They've had a fantastic season. They're itching to get back there to meet Mr. Saldana face to face.
Back to the ground and a big hole for Sean Mitchell. Mitchell is knocked down very close to first down territory at about the 17.5-yard line.
There you see Sean Mitchell, a big-time signee out of high school. He averaged over 300 yards a game in high school. Went to the University of Texas. There you see the giant hole in that right side. And Sean Mitchell was in the same backfield with Ricky Williams, Priest Holmes, at the time. So it's hard for him to be the feature back with those two outstanding players. Obviously, Ricky won the Heisman Trophy, and Priest Holmes all pro in the NFL, but John Williams is very talented.
David Banks bounces off the initial wave and then gets to the 15. He's got the first down. Yeah, that's pretty good company. Ricky Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner, and Priest Holmes, who probably has been the best running back, pure running back in the league the last couple of seasons in the NFL.
Yeah, no question. That's a couple of good ones to have on your cellular speed dial. The Rockers keep rotating their three running backs, David Banks Jr., Sean Mitchell, and then they also have a couple of good threats. They can throw it. Also, Jaquai Wilburn. Also, those three really touching the football. They haven't thrown it much.
Saldana fakes, fires, and throws that one up into the bleachers.
A little souvenir.
And a pretty good catch amongst the fried alligator and crawfish etouffee.
Oh, I know you always love going down there after the ball game to see what those front row suite holders have ordered in their boxes.
There's never much left. Jody Cantu leads his club to the line of scrimmage. He'll snap it to Mark Saldana. Two Texans, one from Texas A&M Kingsville, the center, and Saldana from Texas Tech. Saldana is pressured. Down he goes near midfield. It was David Dorsey, the middle linebacker.
Well, Dorsey came on the blitz. He has to signal when he comes to the line of scrimmage, hold his hand up and signal that he's available. He starts off 5 yards, comes through the A-gap on the right side. Nobody picks him up, and Saldana would have been better off just to chunk that one into the stands. Dorsey wrestles him down for a big sack.
Dorsey had his eyes buried on the belt buckle of Saldana and would not let him get out of his gaze. The line to make is near the 4. About 20 to go. Saldana with a pocket fires up the middle. It's caught at the 12. Lee McCormick out of Murray State, the former NFLer with both Cardinal franchises, or both St. Louis franchises.
How about that? Lee McCormick, 39 years old. You think, what in the world is he doing? The guy was all league in the NIFL last year. Still one of the top players in the National Indoor Football League. One of the few players, period, maybe the only guy that played for the St. Louis Cardinals and the Arizona Cardinals that's still active.
I bet he is. Darren Brown, an All-America out of Wofford, left-footed kicker, a pair of them in the game, and he is right on target. So we have 10 apiece. Each team with a touchdown and a field goal. 4 possessions and 4 scores. We'll be right back. Happy Flag Day and happy Father's Day from down on the bayou in South Louisiana, the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center. 10 apiece with 79 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Chestnut and Beard are back to receive the kickoff from Darren Brown.
You see Darren Brown, who was an All-American kicker at 1AA Wofford College. He's in law school at the University of Texas. Was born with one arm and has overcome that handicap, and I'm sure he doesn't even refer to it as a handicap. What an amazing story. An All-American college kicker, kicks in the pro ranks, and is going to be a lawyer one day. Kind of reminds you of Jim Abbott too. You know, another guy who was a 3-sport star in high school before becoming, of course, all-star pitcher in the major leagues.
Brown did a nice job of booting that one over the head of Sullivan Beard. And so the touchback will give Houma the ball at the 5-yard line. 10 apiece. We've had 2 possessions by each team, and both teams have maximized them.
You know, down here in the Bayou Lane, you think of handicapped kickers, and Tom Dempsey comes to mind, a guy who half a foot, half an arm, and had the tied now for the NFL record. Little at the last 30-plus years from a 63-yard field goal to beat the Detroit Lions down at Tulane Stadium. The most memorable kicks in NFL history.
Herb Tyler back at quarterback, a 5'10", 200-pounder from LSU. Long count. And he hands it off to Cedric Allen running right. And Cedric is bowled over after a minimal pickup. Allen was hit very hard by the middle linebacker Nick Jester, who wears number 51. If that name sounds familiar, he's out of Tennessee and played a major role on several of those very fine Tennessee teams.
And Nick Jester did a nice job of finishing right there. They held Allen up from the front man, and Jester came and knocked his block off.
2nd down and 9 from the 6. This could be the final play of the first quarter. Allen again looked like he never really had the handle very well, and Nick Jester was the first to get to him.
Yeah, Cedric Allen, lucky he didn't fumble that football. He kind of bobbled the exchange, even almost ran into one of his offensive linemen. Could have been real trouble for the Bucks.
And so that brings us to the close of the first period. Houma 10, Austin 10. Houma protecting its home territory today. This is a place that has been real good, 5-0 for the Bucks in their own building. We'll be right back with the second quarter. It's 10 apiece at the end of one quarter from the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center. And Ronnie, this game has been a mirror image. Each team with a mid-range field goal. Stropolo for the Bucks and Brown for the Rockers. And both tailbacks have plunged over from 2 yards away. David Banks got one, and Cedric Allen has one.
Here's take a look at the standings for the NIFL, the Atlantic Conference Southern Division. The Land Sharks 7-2 in the division. Then you see the Bucks 6-3, 8-4. Now the Bucks play 14 games, so they've got 2 left. If the Bucks win tonight, go 9-4, and win their final game, they'll be 10-4. 10-4 should be enough to get them, even if the Land Sharks win out, a wild card spot. There are 2 wild card spots in the Atlantic Conference, and that's really what the Bucks are targeting, is that to finish strong and to get the wild card and make it to the playoffs. Of course, if they end up in a tie with the Land Sharks, they hold the tiebreaker because they've beat Lake Charles twice this season.
The only 2 defeats Lake Charles has suffered have come at the hands of Houma.
And they were back-to-back games. The Lake Charles played, had a bye, and then lost on the road, so they don't want to play the Bucks anymore.
Herb Tyler fakes the pitch, fires it. It is dropped. It would have been a first down easily at the 22-yard line. Chestnut was a little bit undecided as to dive for it and go down on a knee or try to keep his balance and run. He got caught in between. That should have been a first down.
Yeah, Chestnut is wide open right here. This is going to be a big play. Herb Tyler kind of throws a little bit of a changeup right there. Ball a little bit short of him, but in the breadbasket. I mean, there is nobody around Darian Chestnut. He's going to catch this ball, turn upfield, and get in at least another 10 yards.
Looked like he kicked it out of his own hands, didn't he, when he was bringing it in. Here's a long attempt by Stropolo. It's grabbed in the end zone, working out to the 15. And then being dumped unceremoniously is Derek Wallace out of Grambling. And guess who got him again? Dorsey has been in on seemingly every tackle.
Yeah, Dorsey just like Betts. I mean, they're very similar. Betts is a special teams demon, also very good at the middle linebacker position, and Dorsey filling in nicely. They really don't miss much with him in the ball game.
So for the first time, somebody fails to score. 10 apiece very early in the second quarter. That loss last week to previously winless Oklahoma could potentially be very damaging to Houma. A win there, and it quite frankly was expected, would have really helped Homa's playoff cause. That broke a 6-game winning streak, longest in franchise history. Back to the ground and back to Mr. Banks. David Banks, a 5'10", 210-pounder out of Langston.
Well, this game should move fast. The Rockers don't like to run, throw the football. And there you see offense coordinator Kerry Cash giving the instructions to Saldana. And they're going to run it, and the clock's going to move. It's really going to be up to that defensive front to just dig in and take the football away from the Rockers.
Second down and a long 7. This one is slung out to the left flat. It is grabbed for short yardage. Joe Crum, who's listed as a defensive back, was on the receiving end of that pass.
Crum, a two-way guy, he'll play kind of a backup defensive back and also plays a receiver. He's out of Central Texas College. His dad is in Iraq right now and is a tank driver in Iraq. He lives in Fort Hood and drives that 40 miles every day to practice. Very committed athlete.
Third down and a yard. Blitz coming. Pegg goes to the outside. It is caught for a first down at the 25-yard line. And that is good enough for a first down.
Nice grab by Derek Wallace. Saldana's throws have been ugly, but very effective. This isn't the prettiest of mechanics right here, but Saldana gets the job done. Derek Wallace leaps up and makes the catch. Wallace out of Grambling State has a lot of native of Louisiana, so he's got a lot of family and friends here at the ball game.
That's not an easy drive from Grambling. First and 10 from midfield. And for the third time, the Bucks are drawn across defensively. It appeared Houma made early contact. The Bucks are claiming that they were drawn across. The officials will rule against the home team. So it's a 3-yard penalty to the 22-yard line.
Well, talking about Wallace played his college football at Grambling State. Not sure what town he's from, but had to get 18 tickets for this ball game. So Bayou Bucks happy to accommodate as long as he pays for it.
Wilburn running hard. He's overturned near the 15, and a flag goes down. In fact, a couple of them. So we'll check a pair of penalty markers.
Little chop block by the offense. A block below the waist.
11:41 remains in the first half, 10 apiece. Houma and the Austin Rockers. Austin came up short a week ago, losing to Lake Charles 50-36.
Well, these two teams met earlier in the season, and it was the Austin Rockers winning that ball game by a score of 44-33. That was back on April the 19th. In that ball game, they had no Roger Green, no Tim Betts, who's out in this one, and Herb Tyler wasn't on the ball club at the time. And ever since Herb Tyler's arrival, that's when really the Bucks have gone on their big win streak.
Tyler suffered his first loss as a starting quarterback last week. He is 6-1. Saldana has time, wobbles one downfield. It's woefully underthrown. Is it caught? Yes, it is.
Crum comes up with it. That ball by Saldana was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it was just kind of a jump ball that Crum went and got. You see, watch Saldana's throw. It looks like Green gets a piece of it, just up for grabs, and Crum is able to battle Sullivan Beard and get the football. Nice effort. Crum goes 6 foot, 190 pounds. Played his college football at Central Texas College.
It's a first down at the 11-yard line. Mark Saldana hands it off to Banks, trying to poke it outside, and he is turned over, and a late penalty marker goes flying in. Roger Green, the nose guard, was able to crab walk to his right and stay with the play defensively, but let's check the penalty marker. It will go against the offense. Brett Elliott, one of the offensive tackles, is called for holding. A 6'6", 290-pounder out of Angelo State. I think they declined that, Ronnie. They sure did.
They're going to take the play.
10:24 and counting, second quarter, 10 apiece. Austin and Houma.
Interesting decision by Jack Phillips. A little bit of a gambler attitude.
Saldana hands it off on a draw to Wilburn. Wilburn drags a couple of tacklers with him down to the 7-yard line, perhaps to the 6. He ran out of one tackle, and then David Dorsey knocked him down.
It's amazing to me that the Rockers are running the ball so easily. You know, the Bucks know they're coming, but not able to stop it entirely. The Rockers have just enough explosiveness at the wide receiver position. When you talk about Wallace, Crum, and you throw Lee McCormick in there, he hasn't caught a ball yet today. You know, that keeps your defense on its toes, and that's exactly what's happening, because the Rockers have gone with 2 running backs all game.
A draw to Banks, and he is ripped off his feet inside the 5. Again, it was Dorsey, who's having a fabulous game, but you don't want your middle linebacker to make every tackle. This is going to be close to a first down.
Well, it looks like right there that they've come up about a yard short of the end zone, but as we look at the marker, it does appear from our angle that he probably is going to pick up the first down.
They've got Al Basinger on the left side of the offensive line, a 6'5", 350-pounder from Oklahoma. And Jody Cantu out of Texas A&M Kingsville is the center. Brett Elliott, a 6'6", 290-pounder from Angelo State, is the right tackle. And they've been doing a nice job, a very nice job.
They've got a definite size advantage. No question about that.
That has not been a problem, though, in the past for the Houma defensive line, which has been very quick and very active and has been able to run around some of those big guys.
Oh, definitely. The Bayou Bucks have some big athletes of their own, but they're very quick, and they've been able to overcome some of that size all season long. But in this case, the offensive line of the Rockers is doing a very nice job.
First down, bootleg, Saldana to the corner. He did not get there. Franklin Thomas, the defensive end, ran him down short of the stripe.
Well, Franklin Thomas, nice play right there. Franklin Thomas, one of the veteran players. He's a player coach for the Bayou Bucks, a guy who's done a fantastic job over the years, and right there shows a lot of speed to get to the corner and keep Saldana out of the end zone.
He was fighting off the block of that big 350-pounder, Al Basinger. 8:20 to go. Second quarter. Mitchell is hit, and down he goes back at the 5. Emmanuel Bentley got there early, and so did Reed.
Real nice job. It's tough, Lynn, when you get down, especially inside the 5-yard line. It's tough to fool anybody because there's really no room. As the end zone goes about 5-6 yards deep. That's all. So you pretty much have to run the football. So a defense right there doesn't have to worry too much about the pass. They just line up, put their ears back, and come after you. And that time, a nice job by Bentley to come in there and stop Sean Mitchell.
22 Bentley and 53 Reed made a sandwich of the ball carrier.
Rockers are going backwards instead of forwards at the 1st and goal at the 1.
From the 5, 3rd and goal. Saldana throws it short. It is caught for a touchdown by Derek Wallace.
Well, that was a nice job by that offensive line, because Saldana had a lot of time to drop back, scour the field, and he finds Wallace over the middle and makes a nice touch pass to him. Watch Saldana as he drops back to pass all day. 1, 2, 3 receivers, and then makes a perfect throw to Derek Wallace right in front of a very good Sullivan Beard.
Wallace just found a spot, locked down, and Saldana got it to him. And the extra point by Darren Brown is good. So Austin takes its biggest lead of the game, 17-10, 7:07 remaining in the second quarter on Cox Sports Television. We thank you for joining us for National Indoor Football League action from the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center. Austin leads Houma 17-10. The offense has certainly been ahead of the defense in the first half, Ronnie Rance.
You know, the Rockers have been very impressive. And that time, that drive, they mixed up the pass a little bit. You know, Saldana did a nice job. Not bad for a flight attendant, huh? Flight attendant for Southwest Airlines, a quarterback for the Austin Rockers, has really led his team nicely. Had some good touch passes, and kept the Bucks on their toes. And the Rocker offense has been a little better than I thought they would be. You know, kind of looking pretty much for the run primarily, and they've been able to mix it up nicely, especially that last series.
Houma's only touchdown was set up by a fabulous kickoff return by Sullivan Beard, who ran it all the way down to the goal line. This one is taken by the big fellow, Cedric Allen, and he plows straight upfield to about the 23. My guess is they would like Cedric Allen to let that thing go through and find either Chestnut or Sullivan Beard to try to get a conventional run back on the kickoff. Yeah, but good field position at the 22.
22, almost, you know, basically midfield in this league. That's not too bad either. Let's see how Herb Tyler's going to do. Herb, who came out for the pregame introductions, was announced as a starter, but he's suffering from a little bit of a stomach virus. Did not hit the field to start. Aubrey Jones, the backup, was the starting quarterback in the first series, and then Herb joined him in the second series of the ball game.
He's only thrown 1 or 2 passes in the first half. He'll throw on first down. Has a pocket. Now scrambles. He scoots to the 20, to the 15, and he's yanked off his feet near the 11-yard line. The old boy still has some wheels, doesn't he?
Yeah, it looked like the old Herb Tyler at LSU when it wasn't there. He'd tuck it and take off with the best of them. We haven't seen Herb do that a whole lot this year, but this time, good pocket, finds the hole, shows he's got a little bit of speed to get away from those linebackers, takes it all the way down to the 10-yard line.
They mark it closer to the 12. First down for Houma.
Now they need to see the replay. Should have been the 10.
3 wide receivers left. Cedric Allen trying to follow them. Can't get much blocking. Maybe picks up a tough yard. He's knocked off his feet at the 11.
That doesn't look like that's Cedric Allen's best play, the toss play. He's a straight ahead guy. He's a guy you want to, give off guard, off tackle kind of play. That when you give him the toss on a short field like this, it gives that defense that's got a lot of speed on that Rocker defense time to get to him.
Middle linebacker Nick Jester, among others, was involved in the tackle. 5:25 remaining in the second quarter.
Allen starting for the injured Michael Burks, who's been sensational this year, who's suffering from a foot injury.
Scheck-Snyder in motion. Allen again running right. Got a block and maybe a hold. Lane Evans was blocking on the right side, number 64, and they may have nabbed Lane for grabbing a jersey. We'll see. Yep.
Yeah, and we even saw him, could make out his mouth there. He said 64. That's just, you got to hold your block a long time for Cedric Allen. He's not a speed guy. It takes him a while to get around that corner, and it's hard for those big linemen to stay on their blocks without those defensive linemen trying to spin off, and that's usually when you'll grab hold of a jersey, and official sees that very easily.
It is Lane Evans, the guilty party. 6'6", 350-pounder out of LSU. Mick Rodemeyer, Troy Davis, and Lane Evans have been really solid up front for most of the year. Davis is the center. Rodemeyer and Evans to his left and right, respectively. Tyler to the end zone. Intercepted. It was slightly underthrown. And a fine interception by Damon Bowie out of Boise State. That ball was intended for Kevin Hurd, and he was very well guarded.
Well, Bowie is all over him. Tyler shouldn't have thrown this football. Hurd didn't have any room there. There was nothing to throw to. And if you're going to try to throw it to Hurd, you got to throw this ball on his right shoulder to where it's either out of bounds or Hurd catches it. Almost an impossible throw. And there you see some of the coaching staff fired up for the Rockers because they've gone on the road here. They're up 7, and they want more.
Bowie had inside position, and the only way that ball was going to be caught would have been throwing it to the outside and hoping Hurd could spin and adjust his route.
And the Rockers have really quieted down this crowd here for the Bayou Bucks. They're trying to get their defense fired up, and I think the fans here at the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center are a little surprised because they haven't trailed much here at home this year.
Wallace splits to the near side. Saldana will throw. Fires it up the middle. It is completed. Sean Mitchell's got it. He's dumped at the 13. Bentley made the tackle out of Alabama A&M. But a first down reception by Sean Mitchell, the former Texas Longhorn.
You see a ball almost tipped by Green up in the front. May even got a piece of it, but Mitchell with the nice catch. Roger Green almost had that ball knocked down. That's something Saldana's got to deal with. He's not a real big guy. Listed as 6 foot, but that's questionable.
And for the most part, the defensive line has been unable to apply pressure. There's been 1 sack in the ball game by Houma. We'll take a break. 3:43 remaining in the second quarter. Austin leads by a touchdown. After the timeout, the Rockers go right back to the ground. Sean Mitchell picks up some yardage to the 21-yard line. This Rocker team has been able to run the ball very effectively in the first half. It is a first down for Austin at the 21. 3 minutes and some change remain in the first half. Austin leads by a touchdown. Mitchell again. They have been able to keep Houma rocked back on its heels, getting good yardage on first and second down. Sometimes third down runs have been effective. And Saldana has not thrown a pretty ball today in the first half, but he's been on target.
Yeah, Saldana is not. You don't want to videotape his mechanics and use it at a clinic, but he's been super effective. Former Texas Tech Red Raider.
David Banks cannot get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, you don't want to do that against the speed of the Bayou Bucks defense. You got to get a hole, pick a hole, choose it, and go forward and get the most out of it. That time, Banks tried to stop at the line of scrimmage and read and see if something would open up, and the Bayou Buck defense too quick for that.
Thomas was there, Bentley was there out of the secondary, and the linebacker Dorsey was as well.
You can't really dance in the NIFL. Right here, see, Banks not sure what he wants to do. He starts to dance around. It's a small field, and these guys fly on that turf. So, you know, if you hesitate, somebody's going to be on you, and that's what happened. Dorsey got on him in a hurry.
Two minutes and some change remains in the second quarter. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. There's been a turnover as a ball was tipped and then picked off. A sensational interception by Emmanuel Bentley, I believe. No, it was Drew Email. Check it, Sullivan Beard on it as he tips it right here and then pulls it in. A huge turnover, and that was as good as you'll ever see. Sullivan Beard, the former Nichols Colonel, the defensive back, makes a great play. to give Houma the football with 1:59 remaining.
Well, Sullivan Beard, who was all-conference for the NIFL and led him in interceptions a year ago, has played just as well this season. That time kind of dropped in the flat, tipped the ball up in the air to himself, and made a very difficult interception. You see Neil Seward, one of the owners of the Bayou Bucks, enjoying that interception as the Bucks try to come back right before half.
That was one heck of a tip and pick by Sullivan Beard. He's had a couple of big plays, Ronnie. A kickoff return that he nearly brought back, gave Houma first and point-blank range. They scored from 2 yards away on the following play, and then that interception certainly thwarted at the moment what looked like a promising drive for Austin.
Well, the Rockers were on the verge of at least getting probably 3 out of it, or a chance at 3. And instead, the defense of the Bucks steps up like it has all season long, and their veteran Sullivan Beard makes the big play. Beard out of Nickel State, who's been fantastic. And there's another owner for the Bucks, Gordon Dove.
Houma with a chance to tie before the end of the first half. Herb Tyler will throw on first down. Lobs it short. It's caught by Clint Schecksnyder out of Rhodes College in Memphis. He picked up about 5 near midfield.
Herb Tyler just trying to move the chains. Schecksnyder makes a nice tough catch. This one not going to do a whole lot of damage, but gets Herb maybe in a little bit of a rhythm. Schecksnyder leaps up and takes a hit. Played his high school football right here in the Houma area for Vanderbilt Catholic.
Tyler against the blitz, wings it to the outside. It's incomplete.
He was intending that pass for Schecksnyder. It would have been a great catch if he could have come up with it, but Schecksnyder couldn't hang on.
Tyler had to eject that one quickly. He was facing the middle linebacker blitz. 3rd down. And about 5 for Houma to keep this drive alive from midfield. 81 seconds remain in the second quarter. The Bucks can lock up a playoff with a win today and a win in their final regular season game. They trail 17-10 with 1:21 remaining. Tyler looking, throwing to the end zone. Schecksnyder, touchdown! Clint Schecksnyder, touchdown! Houma Bucks.
Just like that, the Bucks are right back in this ballgame with a chance to tie it. Offensively, they really hadn't done a whole lot in this ballgame. Herb Tyler drops back the pass. Schecksnyder gets a step on a defender, and it's an excellent throw. As Herb gets hit, he gets enough on it to reach Schecksnyder. Look at his throw in. Tyler doesn't see the end of that play because he's on the turf, but puts it just over the defender's grasp. That was an excellent throw and a good catch.
Chris Tripolo bangs the extra point, and we are tied 17 apiece with 75 seconds remaining in the second quarter. More after this timeout. A touchdown strike from midfield from Herb Tyler to Clint Schecksnyder. And the kickoff sails into the net. And this will give Austin the ball at midfield. That's a big mistake if you don't keep it in play.
Well, Strapolo's got the leg to kick it out every single time. But in this league, in the NIFL, they want you to keep the ball in play. You get penalized severely if you don't do that. That's why you see the squib kick primarily on kickoffs.
And it took no time off the clock. 75 seconds still remain. We're in the closing moments of the second quarter. 17 each. Saldana out of Texas Tech. Backpedals. Throws it over the middle. And it's ripped out of the hands of the receiver. Bentley with the interception. Emmanuel Bentley wrestled it away. interceptions.
Well, Bentley has had a nice first half as well, kind of playing a linebacker and a DB role. He comes across and makes a nice break ball, a little bit behind Lee McCormick, and Bentley there to get the interception, and momentum is now squarely shifted to the side of the Bayou Bucks. Ball thrown behind McCormick. McCormick yet to catch a ball today. He came in as an all-league receiver, and that time Bentley steps in front and takes it the other way.
This is about the place on the field that Tyler hooked up with Schexnayder in the back part of the end zone on Herb's last throw. Two receivers bunch up on the right side, one on the left. Tyler on first down. Fires to Herb. Did he get it? No, he didn't. He had it for a moment, and then it was dislodged as he was trying to haul it in against the boards. Dante Wells prevented a touchdown.
Well, this would have been a sensational catch if Hurd could have come up with it, but Tyler throwing the ball very accurately in this ball game.
.60 seconds remain in the first half. 2nd and 10. Tyler throws short. Chestnut has it, makes a move. He's got enough for a first down on the near side boards. He was tackled by Jackson, but it's a first down for Houma. .56 seconds remain in the second quarter. Houma is aiming for the lead. 16 yards away. Herb Tyler under center. He takes the snap from Troy Davis. He retreats against the blitz, fires it short. It's caught inside the 10. Cedric Allen is knocked down at the 5. A perfect play call against the blitzing middle linebacker.
The middle of the field is going to be open right there with that linebacker coming on the blitz, and that's right where the Bucks attacked. And Herb Tyler really finding his rhythm here in the second quarter. Linebacker comes on a blitz, he gets rid of it in a hurry, right over the middle of the field where he'd be, and a nice catch by Allen with a big bruising running back. Shows he's got pretty good hands right there.
First and goal from the 5-yard line. And we've got a timeout right here as the teams gather strength for the final 51 seconds in the second quarter.
This is that part of the this that part of the territory where the Bayou Bucks kind of get caught in between. You know, when you get down inside that 5-yard line, you pretty much have to run the football. It's hard to throw. You've got about 10 yards to work with. That's it. So we'll see what kind of play call here. Obviously, in Herb Tyler's younger days, the bootleg would be an excellent call because he had such quick feet. Fake that run to the right, then boot to the left to give him a run-pass option. But we hadn't seen that a whole lot this year from Jack Phillips and the Bucks.
From the 5, first and goal. Cedric Allen gets good blocking and steams into the end zone. And now we've got a breakus breaking out back at the 7. We've got flags going down. There was an initial problem, and then one of the defenders jumped on the back of one of the Bucks. Schexnayder was involved in it. They're going to get him out of the way. He didn't look like he wanted to keep that fight going anyway, very wisely walking away. Meanwhile, Houma has regained the lead on a 5-yard run by Cedric Allen. And we'll sort the penalty marker. It came well after the touchdown.
That was an easy toss to the left. No problem for the Bucks. They got it easily, and then I guess a little bit of extracurricular ensued afterwards.
The touchdown stands, a personal foul against the Rockers. In fact, maybe a couple of them.
It looked like he signaled that direction twice.
Chris Jackson was charged with the first personal foul, and Brent Pradia with the second one. Both of them in the secondary. They were mugging Clint Schexnayder down there.
Schexnayder, that big touchdown catch just a little bit ago.
Emil running for two, cuts back. Did he get in? Yes, he did.
Well,
the Rockers, I don't think, like it. And they've lost their cool down there in the corner. The coaching staff is trying to keep players under control. Another penalty marker is down. Emil was awarded the 2 points. What a gamble. It paid off.
Well, I think the Bucks tried to catch the Rockers off guard with all the extracurricular after the score. The Bucks tried to take advantage of maybe some confusion by the Rockers and called the fake, but Emil gave an extra big effort to get into the end zone.
So it's 25-17 with 48 seconds remaining. And Ronnie, this game has really reversed courses over the last minute or so. A couple of interceptions that set up 2 touchdowns. One on a long pass to Schexnayder, another one on a 5-yard run to Allen, an extra point by Stropolo, and a 2-point conversion out of point after formation by Emil. So 15 consecutive points have been scored by the home team, and suddenly Houma has an 8-point advantage, the biggest lead of the night for either team. Once again, Stropolo hits it too hard. And it'll go back to midfield. There still are 48 seconds left. According to the scoreboard, the Rockers have a couple of timeouts with which to work. So there is plenty of time for yet another reversal.
Well, back-to-back long kicks by Stropolo has given the Rockers perfect field position at midfield. And now they're going to rule that either hit off the back wall or... Oh, because
now
of
they're going to mark the penalty yardage off.
Yeah, so that was the one time where it was okay to kick it deep, because now they're going to mark off 2 personal foul penalties, which is going to give the Rockers the ball at their own 12. Now, let's see. Did he mark off the wrong distance? Either way, it helps out Stropolo's quite a bit.
And actually, knowing that that penalty yardage was to be assessed, that's a very wise play by Stropolo to kick it out of play, knowing that the penalty would bring it back, and it has, to the 7.5-yard line. .48 seconds are left in the first half. 25-17. Houma leads. Saldana sends 3 in motion. Looks short, throws it short. He's got Wallace dancing for some yardage out to the 18. Fumble picked up by the linebacker, David Dorsey, but the whistle had blown.
Well, that's a bad call right there. The Rockers got away with one because this is a fumble. No question about it.
Wallace gets credit for the catch out to the 18-yard line.
Here you see Wallace with a nice move to the inside, but watch as he gets hit from behind. He's not down. That ball's loose.
Oh, my. That was not even close.
And the official, who was kind of blinded, he was behind one of the defenders, blew the whistle. That was just a bad call.
Saldana has new life. Scrambling, throwing, caught near the 11. That's the first reception of the game by Lee McCormick, the former Phoenix Cardinal and the former St. Louis Cardinal.
Well, what a break for the Rockers. And they take advantage of it on the next play and go down the field to McCormick.
And we've got a timeout with 24 seconds remaining. We'll be back with the final seconds of an exciting first half after this timeout. Welcome back, everyone. Along with Ronnie Rance, I'm Lynn Rollins. It has been an exciting first half, hasn't it? 25-17. Houma, with back-to-back touchdowns following interceptions by Beard and Bentley, has come from 7 back and now leads by 8. But with nearly 24 seconds left in the first half, Saldana under center, looking, throwing short, grabbed by McCormick. He spins, he's wrestled down at the 7-yard line. Bentley grabbed him there. And with 16 seconds left, the Rockers take their final timeout. Houma leading by 8. The Rockers immediately go into the huddle.
Well, you look at that fumble that wasn't called properly, and what a huge play. It was at least 3 points. Because Stropolo's been kicking so well, and that was in Rocker territory. At least 3 points for the Bucks, and now
McCormick came up a couple of inches shy of the first down.
it could be as many as a 14-point swing or a 10-point swing, however you want to look at it, if the Rockers can put it in the end zone.
On the scoreboard, the timeout was counted against Austin, so according to the scoreboard, there are none left, but I'm not so sure the officials didn't call one there for the measurement. And I think that's what they're discussing right now.
So second and less than 1.
But time is much more important than distance here. From the 7-yard line, McCormick in motion, an early start. Who came across first? Brent Elliott, the right tackle, released, and that's going to cost the Rockers the penalty yardage.
A nice hard count by Saldana, but that time he got his right tackle, Brett Elliott, who came up. They drew the Bucks offside, but Elliott couldn't stay in his stance.
There are 10 seconds, or excuse me, 15.6 seconds remaining. The ball is at the 10-yard line.
And this gives Saldana and his offense a little bit more room to work with from the 10.
Sometimes 3-yard penalties are not that important. In fact, they can be advantageous on occasion, and this may be one of them.
Well, they had a couple, you see 15. Now they want to set the clock at 16.2 seconds. They had let about a half-second tick off there.
It should have been set to the original time.
I guess 16.2 is close enough to 16.3, right?
Good enough. Saldana facing the blitz, scrambles to his left. He's pressured, and he throws it out of the back of the end zone.
A smart play right there. Stops the clock, and that's at least 2 more chances for the Rockers. And I guess they may elect to kick it, on 4th down, get some points instead of going to the end zone with a whole second half left to play.
But they certainly have at least one more opportunity to throw it to the end zone with 10 seconds remaining. Joe Crum splits out wide left.
They've got McCormick in motion. He's their go-to guy in this situation.
Wallace on the right side. Over the middle. And incomplete. Well, now they've got... Well, they really don't have an option. It's 4th down. I thought they may try to throw one and then kick the field goal, but they've run out of downs. And they bring Darren Brown to the carpet. This will be about a 22-yard attempt for Darren Brown. Interestingly enough, we have a couple of left-footed kickers in this game.
Yeah, that's pretty rare. And they're both very good, too.
Yes, they are. This to bring the Rockers within 5. Brown punches it through. And with 2.5 seconds remaining in the half, it's 25-20. Houma leads on its own rug here in the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center.
It's a place to meet. It's a place for fun. It's the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center, a full-service, multi-purpose venue that serves South Louisiana with function space and entertainment. From Broadway to bull riding, football to festivals, concerts to conventions, and much more. There's something for everyone at South Louisiana's favorite showplace. For more information or a list of coming attractions, call toll-free 1-888-771-HTCC or visit HoumaCivicCenter.com.
Hey! That thing got a Hemi? Yeah. Sweet.
The all-new Dodge Ram Heavy Duty.
Did you mean the Charger? Because you know that's got a Hemi too.
Now with a 345 horsepower, 5.7-liter Hemi Magnum. Ram Heavy Duty. Enough muscle to grab Motor Trend's 2003 Truck of the Year award.
With 2.5 seconds remaining in the first half, I would be very surprised if we saw anything other than a squib kick. Darren Brown teeing it up. His club trails by 5.
Well, do you return it or do you kneel it as soon as you catch it and give your offense a chance? That's the decision.
I think you do the latter. Here's the bouncer. Bentley's got it. He falls down. They try to get a timeout, but they don't get it. The first half apparently has expired, although the Bucks think there should be some time left. The officials will not concur. It is halftime, and an exciting one has come to a close. In its own backyard, the Bucks lead the Austin Rockers in a very big game with playoff implications for both teams. Houma 25, Austin 20 at the half.
Pittsburgh Paints, making life easier and more beautiful for over 100 years. You work too hard to paint with anything less.
Through hard work and thoughtful planning, we have established a thriving economy in this area, legendary for its natural resources, renowned culture, and friendly people. Terrebonne is linked to the global economy by its network of waterways and inland port, great highway access, and its expanding airport. This combination has created a safe harbor and prosperous location for industry. Terrebonne. Let us show you why we call it the Good Earth. For more information, contact the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, 985-873-6890.
Kitchen's really cooking during Copeland's Fresh Seafood Festival. It's the freshest seafood with a shot of New Orleans attitude. The Fresh Seafood Festival, only at Copeland's.
Welcome back to the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center with Ronnie Rance. I'm Lynn Rollins. It's halftime, and Houma, rallying with 15 consecutive points near the end of the second quarter, has taken a 25-20 lead over the Austin Rockers.
Well,
and there you see the Bayou Bells, the Houma dance line, about to go through a rather unusual and intriguing routine.
Lynn, this is going to be outstanding and one of the best dance teams in the NIFL. I think it's your favorite part of the ball game.
We've got the Cinderella look going, don't we?
That's all the commentary I've got, by the way.
These are the Bayou Bells, the Houma Bucks dance line. It's halftime. Houma leading 25-20 over the Austin Rockers. And a vampy little performance going on. A couple of weeks ago, the home show was somewhat of a military matrix look. These young ladies have performed to a different routine, different choreography every single week. That wraps up the performance by the Bayou Bells. With the home team leading 25-20 over the Austin Rockers. We'll be back with more from halftime, including an interview with Coach Jack Phillips prior to the second half kickoff. It's halftime, and the Houma Bayou Bucks in their own building lead the Austin Rockers 25-20. Down on the field prior to the third quarter kickoff, here's Ronnie Rance and Coach Jack Phillips.
Thank you, Lynn. I'm down here with Jack Phillips. And, Coach, you know, a couple of months ago, the Rockers played you very well in Austin, and they have played a tough first half, really running the football.
Yeah, very, very tough football team. And what they do is they really pound the ball successfully with the lead back, and then it opens up their passing game for them. It's giving us an awful lot of trouble. But hats off to the guys the last series that they were able to step up and stop some of that, so we got another couple of opportunities. So they're a tough football team. We knew they were going to be tough coming in.
Herb had a big second quarter, started to throw the football nicely. What's his status? We know he wasn't able to start the first series.
Herb is having some chest pains. He's not going to go for the second half. So we're going to go with Aubrey Jones, a guy that played with us all last year. And, you know, Aubrey can do the job, and we just have to hang on here.
Got a banged-up bunch a little bit. You're missing some key guys. What do you have to do to hang on here?
Well, do a lot of coaching on the field. It's a tough situation for us, but the guys are coming around. They're very, very confident. We're just going to have to play this thing for 4 quarters because this is not the team that we can lay down against.
Good luck second half.
Thank you.
All right, back up to you, Lynn.
Okay, Ronnie, thank you very much. The Bayou Bucks used a 15-point swing in the second part of the second quarter to assume the lead, 25-20, and we'll take a look at some of the first half highlights here as the two teams were very even in the early part of the ball game. That was David Banks scoring from 2 yards away, and coming right back for Houma, Allen with a 2-yard run. This was an interception, the only one thrown in the first half by Herb Tyler, and then the first of 2 interceptions. That one picked off by Sullivan Beard, a sensational catch. And then Herb Tyler is knocked down as he throws a strike to Clint Schexnayder for a touchdown. Another interception, this one by Emmanuel Bentley, setting up the final touchdown of the half by Houma. And it coming on the 5-yard run by Allen. So those 2 interceptions in the closing part of the second quarter and the ensuing touchdowns were enough to propel Houma to the 25-20 lead. We'll be back with the second half kickoff right after this timeout. Welcome back, everyone. The second half kickoff is rammed down the throat of one of the blockers, and he falls on it successfully at the 15-yard line. So the Austin Rockers get great field position as Strapolo's kick was injected into one of the blockers, and he was able to hold on at about the 15. Well, one of the storylines as we continue to unfold here is starting quarterback Herb Tyler will not play in the second half. He is suffering from some chest pains. They will certainly take take every precaution with him. And of course, Tim Betts, the middle linebacker, has not played today because of injuries, nor has the normal starting running back Michael Burks. Houma must dig in defensively, and on the first play, Sean Mitchell rams his way over the right side, gets good yardage, following some blocking down to about the 13-yard line. So, Ronnie, certainly the complexion of this game has changed with Herb Tyler's absence in the third and fourth quarters, and it's going to be a very big task for Houma to hold on.
Well, it should serve as extra motivation for their defense to try to raise their level of play, because it's going to take a very good defensive effort by the Bucks to hang on and win this ball game.
Houma by 5 as we get the third quarter started. Mitchell again is sliced off his feet by Roger Green, the nose guard. Andre Reed was also there. Houma's defense has been as good as anybody's in the league in this building over the first 5 games. It was shoved around in the first part of the first half, but seemed to get a bit stronger as the game went along.
Yeah, the first quarter was really the Rockers ran the football at will. Then the second quarter, their offense got a little diverse. They started throwing the football, but a couple of big turnovers caused by the Buck defense has led to the 25 points.
Mitchell inside the 5 to the 4 to the 3, and that's good enough for a first down. So Sean Mitchell, the former Longhorn out of Texas, powers his way to the 3-yard line. First and goal from there. 13-14 left to play in this third quarter. And we're going to see a lot of running from Banks and Mitchell and Wilburn in the third and fourth quarters. Right now, they've got a big offensive lineman at fullback. Mitchell is behind him. Saldana under center, takes a snap from Cantu. Mitchell running left. Mitchell at the goal line. Mitchell slithers in for the score. So a 15-yard touchdown drive is culminated by a 3-yard run from Sean Mitchell.
And then Mitchell proceeds to dance a little Irish jig out there at the 15-yard line for the fans. And there you see, just kind of follows Cantu around the corner. Looked like got a little help there. Carlos Chester came in as a lead blocker, a D lineman playing a little offense right there, and he helped lead Sean Mitchell around the corner for an easy score.
Now Darren Brown, who has been perfect on every kick, will attempt to give his team a 2-point lead. That one was swatted down at the line of scrimmage, and now flags go flying as a couple of helmets got ripped off after that kick was deflected.
Well, Franklin Thomas came in there to get the block on the extra point, and then you see Franklin Thomas beats the lineman and comes through easily to block that ball. And then a little extracurricular between Roger Green and one of the Rocker offensive linemen.
Both teams have been a little bit irritated tonight, especially the Austin Rockers, who on a couple of occasions have been very demonstrative, and they have drawn some penalties for after the whistle activities. Personal foul against Austin. A blow to the face. The penalty is declined. So the lead is 1 for the Austin Rockers, 26-25, with 12:26 remaining in the third
Jack Phillips trying to rally his troops. You know, when the Bayou Bucks have won 6 of the last 7 games, and when they were on that 6-game win streak, they averaged allowing 27 points over that win streak. And basically that's right at where the Rockers are right now. So if that Buck defense can settle in and hold to form, the Bucks could be on their way to a victory. But the Rocker offense has been more than impressive today.
Austin has scored 3 touchdowns. The 3-yard run by Mitchell, a 2-yard run by David Banks, and a 5-yard touchdown catch by Derek Wallace. Houma has a 2-yard touchdown run from Allen, a 25-yard reception from Schexnayder, and a 5-yard run by Allen, a 2-point conversion by Email, and a field goal by Stropolo. Austin by 1, 26-25, 12-26 remains in the third quarter, and Herb Tyler will not play in the second half. A nice return out to about the 18 by Darian Chestnut. And that's where Aubrey Jones will lead the offense. He played the first series when Tyler didn't feel well. Tyler came off the bench, performed pretty well, especially in the second quarter, but he apparently will not play in the second half.
Well, Aubrey Jones, who played his college football at Northwestern State, also at Winston-Salem, just joined the Bucks last week. He played up for Louisville this year in the Arena Football 2 League. Does have some experience in a Buck uniform, though. Played a little bit for the Bayou Bucks last season after Herb Tyler suffered that season-ending injury. So they're going to put their playoff chances in the hands of Aubrey Jones here in the second half.
Jones will throw on first down. He is hit and goes down short of the line of scrimmage. That's the first sack of the game for the Rockers.
Well, Jones didn't get a lot of time, but for a split second, he had Hurd breaking open over the middle. Hurd beat the defender off the snap right here. If he looks right, he's looking left. If he'd have looked right, he had Hurd open for a touchdown, but he just had a split second to try to see him and get that throw off. No Michael Burks, their all-star running back. No Herb Tyler, who's 6-1 as the quarterback for the Bucks.
Jones whistles it too high over the head of Schexnayder, who had turned in the middle of the field. Aubrey Jones always has had a good arm, Ronnie, but he's been erratic, and he's had some trouble reading defenses in the past.
Well, that time that was like a pitcher high and away. The ball just kind of ran and sailed on him. He had an open Schexnayder, but couldn't hit him, and about 10 yards over the middle of the field just kind of overthrew him that time. Might take him a series to settle in and get comfortable to the pace and the timing in this ball game.
Austin 26, Houma 25, 10.5 to go, third quarter. Jones throws a nice touch pass over the middle. It's caught for a first down by Kevin Hurd.
Oh, that was a nice play, just as you mentioned, Lane. It showed some touch right there. Difficult play. He drops back to pass, and he doesn't have. He's got to take a little touch to make sure that gets over the linebacker, and puts it right on the money to Hurd.
He also did a nice job of looking right and then throwing back left to keep that middle linebacker out of the area. First and 10 at the 21. Any kind of a score would give Houma the lead. Draw play, and he runs right into the middle linebacker, Nick Jester. The ball came loose, but I think Cedric Allen was able to recover it.
Wow, what an effort to fall back on this football. Little draw play to Allen, not much there. As Jester does a nice job of filling the gap, making the tackle and stripping the ball, but Cedric Allen luckily just falls right back on it. Lucky for the Bucks there. That was an opportunity for the Rockers to really change the direction of this football game if they come up with that fumble.
I think we're going to see two strategies here, very diverse strategies. I don't think Houma can run the ball successfully against Austin, and I don't know that Austin can throw the ball successfully against Houma. Cedric Allen turns the left wing for some yardage. It'll be 3rd and about 10.
And the Rockers will give up those 3 yards every time, especially in a 3rd and super long situation. You know, they're trying to run an offense that's going to be a little bit conservative with Aubrey Jones at quarterback, but at the same time, they're missing their starting running back. And they've got a guy, you know, in Cedric Allen, who's a good straight ahead runner, but I don't know that the corners are what he does best.
Jones pumps, slings it outside, caught inside the 5, 1st and goal. A superb throw and a superb catch by Darian Chestnut, the 5'10", 185-pounder, looking inside and then turned back outside. This was a great throw and a better catch.
Well, I tell you what, this is a nice hookup all the way around. He puts it right where it needs to be, on the outside towards the sidelines, where either it's incomplete or a catch. No chance and an interception. And then Chestnut gets a little physical right there, the 5'10", 185-pounder, and hangs on in a little traffic. So a good hookup for a big 1st down.
That's exactly what the Bucks needed on 3rd and 11. 1st and goal from the 4. Allen hit and goes down after 1 difficult yard. They are really leveling their gaze on Cedric Allen. He was hit by Michael Bowden, the defensive end out of Texas. And they've got quite a few Longhorns, former Longhorns, on this roster.
Bowden right there laid the smack down on Cedric Allen. Big D lineman beat his block and then came up and took on Mr. Allen. Cedric Allen's no easy target either. 6'2", 250 pounds, went to Pearl River Junior College.
2nd and goal from about the 3.5, and flags and whistles stop this play. Let's see who got an early start.
It looks like the Rockers got a little taste of their own medicine that time.
That will help the cause a little bit for Houma.
Now the Rockers had drawn the Bucks off sides a couple of times in the 1st half on hard snap counts, and that time Aubrey Jones did the same thing.
Number 50 in the backfield is Roger Green, who normally plays nose guard. Well, he's lined up as a blocking back. And an early start from the left side of the line. Rodemeyer came out of the stance. It's always more costly when the penalty goes against the offense when you're that close to the goal line, because the full yardage is assessed as opposed to half the distance.
Mick Rodemeyer, the left tackle out of New Mexico State. 6'4", 300-pounder. Wasn't on the same page as his leader, Aubrey Jones, that time.
So it's back to the original line of scrimmage at the 4. 2nd and goal with 6:37 remaining in the 3rd quarter. This game is very, very important for playoff implications for both teams. Allen running right. No place to go, maybe to the 3. From the secondary, there was quick help from Corey Mathis out of Southeast Missouri State. Ronnie, I just don't think they're going to be able to punch it in on the ground from here.
Now they're going to have to come up with some kind of maybe trick play, or just have to have some extra effort by their offensive line. That time, just a little toss play to the right side, and Allen did the best he could trying to get there, but just so much speed by the undersized, really defensive linebackers and defensive backs. They just ran to the football there nicely that time.
There's not much room to throw it. Allen up the middle to the 2, maybe to the 1, and a flag is thrown at the point of the tackle.
Would this be face mask maybe? And that's
possibly.
Looks like that's going to be a big break for the Bucks if they get a face mask penalty.
It appears the flag is going to go against the defensive unit.
That is a tough penalty for the Rockers. They thought they We're going to get a chance at a stop here, and now
the ball is placed at the 1.
See if we can see where the penalty comes in there. There it is, a little touch of the face gear. Looked like Michael Bowden got a little bit of Allen's face mask. And they'll give the Bucks another chance on 3rd down at the 1-yard line.
Look for Allen again. Number 42 coming right at you. He scores standing. Cedric Allen punches it in from 1 yard away.
Got a little help from Roger Green, the D lineman, lined up at fullback and did a nice job. Kicked out Brent Prada to give the lane for Allen.
And then he bowled over Jester right there in the end zone.
Yeah, Rodemeyer had blown Jester all into the end zone, but that kick-out block by Roger Green really was the difference in getting in the end zone.
So a penalty-aided drive, and the Bucks lead by 5, 31-26 with 5:21 to go, 3rd quarter. Stropolo will try to stretch it to 6.
Officials having a little word with the big boys up front, trying to calm it down. Nothing will make this game any uglier if there's a lot of laundry that gets on the field, so they want to try to get a handle on things.
Are you surprised the Bucks aren't going for 2 here?
That's early. I think it's the right call in the 3rd quarter.
Stropolo bangs it through. Both kickers have been very good tonight. 5:10 to go, 3rd quarter. Houma 31, Austin 26. Hang on, everybody. We've got a lot more coming your way. 32-26, Houma by 6 with 5:10 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Austin at 6 wins and 5 losses. Houma at 8-4. Austin absolutely needs a victory to keep postseason hopes alive. And certainly this would be a huge win for the Houma team as well. In much better shape for postseason, but Ronnie, this is almost a must-win game for Houma.
Well, the Bucks, if they can win this ball game, their final home game of the year will be against a club that has not won all season long. And that, so they like their chances if they win today to finish out. There's a little onside kick.
Who's got it?
Well, the Bucks say they have it, but there's a flag on the field as well.
There are a couple of them down. Boy, Jack Phillips is a riverboat gambler, isn't he?
Now let's see what the call is. Talking to Jack Phillips before the ball game, they saw this on film. They had planned on trying an onside kick as long as the Rockers stayed with what the Bucks had seen on film. They wanted to check the Rockers a few times, make sure they stayed with the same lineup, and we're going to probably try an onside kick if the opportunity allowed itself. And right there, the Bucks went for it, recovered the onside kick, but now there's a penalty. We're not sure what the call is. Big play for either team right here.
Well, they've got a couple of penalty markers at the 15-yard line. It's going to be Houma's football.
Well,
They wave the penalty markers off.
Give one to Jack Phillips right there, huh? He should be an attorney. He argued his case, and the officials picked up the flag. The Rockers will not be happy about that. You can guarantee two yellow flags on the field, and the officials get together and decide that there was no infraction.
I think they said that they initially ruled, or at least thought, that maybe the ball was touched before it went 10 yards.
Yeah, that had to be the case, that maybe it was touched prior to the 10 yards. But
maybe the law student, Darren Brown, the Austin kicker, should go out and plead his case.
That's right. He should be the defense attorney for the Rockers.
So the offense comes back to the field after scoring a touchdown. Jones will throw on first down. Whips it over the middle. Incomplete. Flag is down. Scheck was the intended receiver, and I believe Mathis was attached to him prematurely.
Aubrey Jones fakes the toss and then fires to Scheck, and that was a close play. The official ruled that Mathis got there a little early.
Perhaps that left arm was hooking Scheck before the ball got there. He looks like Jim Haslett, doesn't he? A little bit.
A little bit.
4.5 to go, third quarter. 32-26. Houma looking to take a 2-possession lead. Aubrey Jones from shotgun formation fires over the middle. A leaping catch is made at the 22-23 yard line. Ball comes loose late, but Chestnut will be awarded the grab. He's come up big the last 2 series, Darian Chestnut.
Chestnut with a very tough catch, and then he paid the price as Michael Bowden, the D lineman, was trailing the play, and just walees Michael Bowden at the end of this. Chestnut goes up, makes the catch, breaks 2 tackles, and then Bowden comes and cleans him up. Watch, he survives the contact there. Watch 42 as he comes in and just pow on number 80, Chestnut.
I don't know what a wale is, but that was a pretty good example. Allen running hard, stomping through tacklers across the 15 down to the 12.
Oh, and Allen with a little head of steam right there, puts some wale of his own.
I like it.
On the rockers. You see Allen 6'2", 250. When he picks up a head of steam, he takes 3 of them to bring him down.
I think a wale is a cross between a wallop and a fillet.
Well, it's like those old Superman and Batman shows in the 50s and 60s. Pow, wale, shazam, zap.
First down at the 11. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Slip screen to Hurd, and nowhere to slip. He goes down at the line of scrimmage. The idea there is to get it to a wide receiver quickly, let him get a brush block or 2, and try to dance his way for some yardage, but that was very well guarded by the Rockers.
Well, the Rockers have a lot of quickness in their secondary and at the linebacker position. There's no question about that. The Bucks are bigger up front for the most part, although Carlos Chester, number 98 in the middle, is a pretty good sized fella, 6'5", 320 out of the University of Houston. But
2nd and 10. Allen running hard, slips by 1 tackler, and then works his way to near the 7-yard line. Cedric Allen appears to have been rejuvenated here in the second half. He's running much harder and with some speed, some quickness, and the ever-present power.
Well, you got to hold your block a little bit longer with Cedric Allen up there, especially on the toss plays. But once he's able to square his shoulders, as long as he's running downhill, he's going to pick up yardage and always fall forward.
The air conditioning is working just fine in here, but Cedric Allen is soaked.
He's working hard.
3rd down. That's broken up in the end zone, intended for Kevin Hurd. And maybe not enough lift on that pass, but a fine defensive play. Well done by Damon Bowie.
And that was a very nice play because Hurd almost had a touchdown. Couldn't quite see it right there, but Bowie, let's take a look right here. Look, as he's falling backwards, able to just get his arm in there. Just enough to break up that pass. That ball's thrown up high above Hurd's head. Hurd would have been able to jump up and catch it. But thrown at his waist, Bowie was able to get in there.
This will be a 24-yard attempt. Make it a 19-yard attempt for a 2-score lead. And Chris Polo has been striking it very nicely. Well, the Bucks gambled and recovered an onside kick, and they have scored 10 straight points. And they've moved out in front, 35-26. We'll take a timeout. Welcome back. Along with Ronnie Rance, I'm Lynn Rollins. This is the National Indoor Football League on Cox Sports Television, and we have had a very entertaining game. 35-26. Houma holding on to the advantage with less than a minute to play in the third quarter. Ronnie, there have been a couple of occasions in this game where the momentum has gone Houma's way. That was late in the second quarter with those 2 interceptions and ensuing scores. And then a touchdown to match one by Austin. And the following onside kick was successfully recovered and turned into a field goal. So certainly this Houma Ball Club is scratching and right now owns a 9-point advantage.
Yeah, the Bucks special teams has been special all season long. Right here, Stropolo trying to boot it down to the 2.
Crum to the 15. Crum out to the 23. He's wrestled down by the linebacker, David Dorsey. David Dorsey's been all over the field, hasn't he?
Dorsey flying down on special team. Nice job by Crum. Gets it out to the 23. The Rockers have pretty much lived at midfield, whether it be through penalty on a kick out of bounds or a nice return. Remember, Michael Crum, a guy who is committed to the Bucks, drives 40 miles every day to practice, lives around the Fort Hood area. His dad is in the Army and is driving a tank over in Iraq. So, you know, Crum thinking about his pop every time he takes the field.
Saldana slips one out very quickly to Wallace, and he turns upfield for 3 or 4 yards.
You see Franklin Thomas, number 90, getting out all the way to the wall to make that tackle. A big D lineman. He's a player coach. And last week, Lynn, due to some injuries, Franklin Thomas had to pull a little double duty. Ryan Rogers suffered an injury on an offensive line. Franklin Thomas played offense and defense the entire second half. And the Bucks lost in Oklahoma last week.
That is the end of the third quarter. Houma 35, Austin 26. The fourth is straight ahead. Tonight's game from the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center is brought to you by Copeland's in New Orleans with locations in Houma and Lafayette. By the Cardiovascular Institute of the South. And by Terrebonne Parish, voted one of the best places to live and work in the United States. With Ronnie Rance, I'm Lynn Rollins. We go to the fourth quarter. The Austin Rockers cannot afford a loss to go to 6-6 on the year and still entertain postseason hopes. Houma needs this victory to take a 9-4 record and put themselves in a position to clinch a playoff berth in a couple of weeks. Well, that's the 4th time that Houma has come across early.
How about that? Roger Green, the nose guard. I mean, he's sitting there about, his face is 6 inches from that football, and he gets drawn off sides, and the football's right in front of him. You don't go until the ball's snapped.
You know, I think if I were a nose guard or a center, that I would have some breath mints with me. Second down, Sean Mitchell crashes over the right side. Not much running room. Down on his ankles was Emmanuel Bentley. Boy, he's played well out of the secondary. He has been a good run stopper on occasion tonight.
He is flying to the football and has popped some people tonight, no question. It's not Ben Lee like the back of his shirt says. It's Bentley. The T has fallen off. He's hit people so hard today.
So he's knocked the T out of him.
Exactly, exactly.
Third down and a couple for the first down. Flag is thrown. Caught for a first down at the 15. And getting farther downfield is Sean Mitchell, but let's check the penalty marker.
Well, Saldana had a lot of time in the pocket. I got to believe a little holding maybe. Oh, actually a little illegal defense by the Bucks that time.
Austin will refuse the yardage and take the play. It's going to be 1st and goal right at the 5-yard line.
Well, that time illegal defense by the Bucks. The linebackers have to line up 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. One of the linebackers can raise his hand, which indicates that he would be the blitz rusher. But if you blitz, you have to blitz between the center and the tackle, or the A gap on either side of the football. If you go around the tackle or outside that gap, that's a illegal defensive call.
David Banks dives ahead to the 2.5. He was tripped up initially at the line of scrimmage by Tyrone Hughes.
Tyrone Hughes, we haven't called his name much tonight. They haven't thrown the football a whole bunch, but Tyrone Hughes for the defensive back for the Bucks.
Former Cornhusker and then Saint.
Former New Orleans Saint, played in the NFL for a few years as a special teams returner.
Banks again, maybe to the 1, and then he's repelled. Franklin Thomas was leading that charge along with Sullivan Beard, the defensive back. They mark progress to the 2-yard line. 3rd and goal from there. Banks is replaced by Wilburn. Jaquay Wilburn in the number 1 running slot right now.
Yards get hard to come by when you get down near the goal line. 3rd and 2 for the Rockers.
Wilburn does not get there, and there's a penalty marker down.
Just throwing flags thrown right at the line of scrimmage. And the way the Rockers are celebrating, it's going to be against the Bayou Bucks. Another illegal defensive call.
So that's basically going to be a free yard on half the distance to the goal, and you save it down. So instead of 4th and goal from the 1, it will be 3rd and goal from the 1. 2 more chances for the Austin Rockers with 12:26 remaining in the 4th quarter. Houma leads by 9, but that bulge is in jeopardy.
And Emmanuel Bentley arguing the most there. He must have been the illegal defender, maybe blitzed too early or something.
Jody Cantu will snap it. Saldana receives it. The handoff to Mitchell going wide, touchdown.
There's some nice agility by Sean Mitchell down near the goal line. Going to run this ball off tackle and then pop it out to the outside. That right there, and then of course the nice block by Derek Wallace to secure the corner makes it easy for Sean Mitchell.
35-32 with 12 minutes and some change left, and the clock continues to roll. Here's Darren Brown, who has been perfect on every place kick attempt. But he hooked this one.
That was a big miss.
Wow.
Brown just pulled it. No reason to rush, but he pulled it.
We'll take a timeout. The lead has been cut to 3, but Houma still has the advantage. Welcome back, everyone. Still plenty of time remaining in the 4th quarter. 11:51 to be exact, 35-32. And the kick is bouncing around. Picked up by Chestnut. Quickly to the 20. Steps outside and runs all the way back to the Rocker 20-yard line.
A big-time return right there.
And a really stupid play by one of the people on the defensive team. It's going to be Damon Bowie with a little shove right in front of the official, and he threw the flag. What was all of that about? Damon Bowie out of Boise State, after the play was over, gave one of the Houma people a little love tap, and that's going to cost them some major yardage.
Watch here, Chestnut, as he at the end of the play after the tackle. I mean, this play is well over.
That's Bowie down right there. He's on the back of Chestnut. Then he gets up and shoves somebody behind him.
Now, you can't really see right there because it didn't happen on Chestnut.
Oh, it still hasn't happened in that replay. He shoved one of the linemen on his way back to the sideline.
So the Bucks able to pick up an extra few yards, and now they start the 1st and 10 at the Rockers' 11. So a huge penalty.
Allen running left, runs out of room, maybe a yard. He 11-11 and counting. 4th quarter, 35-32. The Rockers won on a very slippery playing surface over the ice in Austin earlier this year. Houma is coming off, quite frankly, a disappointing upset loss to Oklahoma last week on the road, a team which had not won a game prior to last week. Austin has lost a couple in a row. Both of these teams are desperate for a win.
Let's see right here. Maybe they look for Kevin Hurd, who's been big for him.
Aubrey Jones fakes the toss, looking, throwing. It is caught by Hurd. A flag is down. Hurd is down inside the 5.
They might get the Bucks here for some kind of pick. I'm not sure. They are going to indicate pass interference or holding against the secondary right there. Kevin Hurd makes the catch.
Well, Coach Rance, you had the right receiver. They went right to him.
Well, Kevin Hurd and Michael Burks, who's injured, not playing today, were both given tryouts by the New Orleans Saints on June 11th. They were just kind of preliminary workouts, but just goes to show you the type of level of play. There's some very good players that are in this league, some guys that have played in the NFL, and all you got to do is look across at Lee McCormick, number 5 for the Rockers, a fine wide receiver, played a couple years in the NFL. And Kevin Hurd trying to live a dream. He may end up there one day as well. Of course, Tyrone Hughes for the Bucks played a number of years for the Saints. An outstanding kick returner, returned a punt and a kickoff for a touchdown in the same game back in the early mid-90s.
That's only happened a few times in NFL history.
And Michael Lewis of the Saints did it last year. Is another guy who played indoor football.
1st and goal from the 5. Allen cuts back, bulldozing his way to the end zone, or close to it. He did not get in. There is a penalty marker down.
Another flag. It seems like there's a flag now on every single play.
And judging from the reaction of Lane Evans, the right guard, I've got to believe that it's going to go against the home team, and it does. It's a holding penalty.
A lot of actors out there for both teams. Everybody lobbying their case with the officials.
There's Aubrey Jones, who has taken every snap in the second half following the illness, the chest pains, with Herb Tyler.
Aubrey Jones started 11 games last year for the Bayou Bucks after Herb Tyler went down. Had 22 touchdowns a year ago through 13 interceptions. He's a big fella, Lynn. Stood next to him before the game. What's he go, about 6'6"?
Yeah, pretty close to it. Let's take a break. 10:09 remaining 4th quarter. Houma leading by 3 and trying to get some more. The Bayou Bells are hoping to send some energy out to the Bucks with 10:09 remaining in the 4th quarter. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line for Houma with a 3-point lead. Allen, somebody's got his shirt tail, and Allen is knocked down at about the 9 or the line of scrimmage. A tearaway jersey would have been okay there. Somebody had latched onto Allen's shirt tail, flapping in the breeze, and that slowed him up at the 8, a gain of 1.